Welcome to A Guide to Every Deck in EDH. Today we're looking at Ezio Auditore di Firenze. And now that my Italian viewers have stopped cringing, we can talk about what Ezio does. So Ezio is a 2-mana black commander. It's a 3/2 with Menace. And it says assassin spells you cast have free running black, meaning you can cast the spell for its free running cost if you dealt combat damage to a player this turn with an assassin or commander. So if we hit with Ezio or we hit with some other cheap assassin creature, we can cast assassin spells for just 2 black mana. And then whenever Ezio deals combat damage to a player, you may pay Wooburg. If that player has 10 or less life, when you do, that player loses the game. So the main ability that we're concerned with here is the middle one, the free running one. So I initially tried to build this deck with a lot of assassins, but the problem is that there just actually aren't that many good assassins to cheat in. So we have access to all 5 colors, which means we can play all of the type changing cards. So heading on down to those, we have access to Maskwood Nexus, Leyline of Transformation, and Arcane Adaptation. So this turns all of our creatures, including the ones that aren't on the battlefield, into whatever type we choose. We can, of course, choose Assassin, and then that means that all of our creatures have free running black. We could have also run additional type changers here like Conspiracy, but Conspiracy is 5 mana. I felt like 3 of these was enough, and these are all more efficient than 5 mana, obviously. What are we doing with that? Well, our gigantic Eldrazi creatures. Once we turn all of our creatures into assassins, these all become assassins. We can cast these for just 2 black mana. And additionally, we are casting them. We're not just putting them onto the battlefield, so we will get all of their cast triggers. Now, with that said, we won't always have Maskwood, Leyline, or Arcane Adaptation in place, so we do have Vein Ripper here as one of the very few assassins that's actually worth playing off of Ezio. Not great, but decent enough. Moving on, we've got our card draw. This includes Roshan, Hidden Magister as another actually good assassin. Other creatures you control are assassins in addition to their other types. So this is the black creature version of all of our type changers. We're also interested in hitting our opponents, so Tymna and Grazilax here will draw us more cards. Hunting Grounds as an additional way of cheating in big stuff. So let's say we don't have access to Ezio, like he got countered or killed or whatever. This is another way of just cheating in big things, albeit this does not get their cast triggers, but good enough. Handful of counter spells. Changeling Outcast is pretty important. So while Ezio does have Menace, and it's likely that we're going to be able to hit somebody, that won't always be the case. Changeling Outcast is just an unblockable assassin, so this is a way that we can trigger the free running. We also have Dark Rituals, just a way to get Ezio out faster. Pretty straightforward mana base, obviously very expensive, 5 colors, and we're running all these revised dual lands, so if you're looking at this price and cringing, well, I just say proxy the cards, but if you're not willing to do that, you can replace all of these with shock lands. Also importantly, I wouldn't normally include Urborg in a 5-color deck, but we do need access to double black for the free running, so that's why Urborg is here. And that's also why the only dual lands that we're running that aren't the revised duels are Undergrowth Stadium and Overgrown Tomb, because they're half black, half green for our mana dorks and the free running payment. Then we've got our protection, ways of making it so that our stuff doesn't get countered or killed. Bunch of ramp spells, bunch of removal. We do need to be able to interact with our opponents or kill opposing Grandith Magistrates that are preventing us from casting Ezio, or just clear the way so that Ezio can attack through our blockers. A little bit of stacks here. Drannith and Opposition Agent are really good. And then tutors, in particular Survival of the Fittest, in order to go grab a big Eldrazi creature if we're missing it. And then if you come down here to the Considerations tab, this is a lot of the other things that I thought about playing, including some of the bigger assassin creatures that I ultimately wound up not running because I didn't feel they were that good. The best of these is probably Ezio Blade of Vengeance, but none of them are really that great, so this is why I switched to the cast big Eldrazi creatures plan instead of assassins. So with all that being said, that is going to do it for Ezio Auditore di Firenze in EDH.